Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Toledo. For those of you that may have missed the Monday morning email, we have a little bit of change of plans for today. We were supposed to have the changing of the guard, but President-elect Travis is stranded in Boston and was unable to get back. So we made a few tweaks, and we will be having the changing of the guard next Monday as our program. As we start this Rotary program, I'd like you to notice beforehand that there was some, oh my goodness, corporate membership sponsors rolling through or scrolling through. And I'd like to thank TARTA, HarborLink, and Impact Employment Solutions as they are our new corporate members. For anyone else who joins as a corporate member, we will be doing this each week as part of the pre-PowerPoint. We also will be sharing all of your logos on our website and in the spoke, and a few other things that we're still trying to work out. If you're interested, you can always change, even if you've already joined this year as a member, just reach out to Jackie and she can help you make those changes. Now would be a great time to check into social media and make sure that your phone is turned off or your ringer is turned down. And if Mike George could join me at the podium to lead us in our reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. Thank you. Dear God of all creation, may the richness and beauty of the natural world never cease to uplift and sustain us. May we constantly be aware of how our actions affect the environment and strive to create a fairer and more sustainable world. May we always be grateful for nature's gifts, and may we continuously work to preserve and cherish them. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Julia Haig, if you could join me at the podium to lead us in the four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be? Say that. Oh, what? Okay. First time. Sorry. Let's try it again. All right. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
As we begin our meeting, I'd like to thank Walt Churchill's Market as they are our monthly meeting sponsor for July, and thank Walt and Kunal Dawar. So thank you very much. We still have some months that are available for this year. If you're interested, reach out to Jackie. Does anyone have any guests with them today? You can go over to the floor, Mike, Helen.
Yes, I have the secretary of our newly founded Rotary Club, Andrew Smith, who is with America.
Welcome, Andrew. Nice to see you.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce Pat Gorey. She's a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Oregon.
Thank you.
Welcome, Pat.
I'm excited to welcome an incoming Rotarian. I actually saw him standing back here and I was like, oh shoot, I think he came as a guest of mine. We're just at separate tables. If you knew me well enough, you wouldn't want to sit with me either. This is Mark Parker, and he is applying to be a new member of Rotary, so please welcome him.
All right, welcome. Welcome, Mark. Glad to have you all with us today. And now, our illustrious Jackie, Executive Director, will give us an Executive Director update.
All right, after Travis and Cindy painfully asked me to come up here in front of you, I have agreed because there are some things I'd like to tell you. I like to be the person in the back of the room. But there are some important notes for you guys to know. You'll see on our tables this month, we're starting something new with our meeting sponsor signs. Thanks again to Walt Churchill's Market for being July's meeting sponsor. And then every week or month as needed, we will be updating the QR code and the language around the QR code for any important announcements that you should be aware of. We created a sponsorship booklet of all the opportunities for you guys to sponsor our signature events, socials, happy hours, the Sandpiper Cruise, things like that. So if you use that QR code to click into our sponsorship booklet, please let me know what you'd like to sponsor, and I'll be happy to work with you on that. Also, if you'd like a hard copy of that sponsorship booklet, please let me know and I can get it to you as well. It is posted on our website. Let's see. I'd also like to remind you all that if you haven't signed up to sit on a committee, you are welcome to do that at any time. Today we have a membership committee meeting at 1 o'clock. You can join if you would like to, and all committees you can hop into at any time should they fit your interest. Lastly, most of the new members know this, but I enjoy going out to coffee with you guys, lunch, that sort of thing, and getting to know you better on a one-on-one basis. So if you haven't asked me to lunch or coffee, I will be happy to do that with you guys, my treat. So just let me know in an email or phone call should you be interested. And I'm looking forward to a great year with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. And we are hoping to get Jackie up here on the podium at least once a quarter this next year. Now that she has some help out front, it will allow her to do that a little bit more often. I'm happy to say we have a new member introduction today. So if Dick Wolf and Jason Harris could join me at the podium.
I want to congratulate Cindy on her extended term as president today. Very pleased to introduce newest member of Rotary Club of Toledo, Jason Harris. He was sponsored by Jackie Bugай, and Jason is a financial advisor with Equitable Advisors in Toledo. He was born and raised in northern Michigan. Jason now lives in Monclova with his wife Kristen and 3 children, Madison, Ethan, and Logan. He enjoys golf and is a member of the Rotary Golf League. He also enjoys hunting, fishing, and do-it-yourself projects. He's very involved in his children's athletic activities. Jason joined Rotary because he wants to give back to a community he sees as spirited and caring. His pet peeves are people who drive with windshield wipers on when it's not raining, and those who don't use their turn signal. I've actually been part of or signed up for a seminar through the Toledo Bar Association that Jason was part of, giving financial investment advice. He did a great job. And I've spent some time with Jason, gotten to know him as his Rotary ambassador, and I know he'll be a great addition to the club. He's a great guy, and I hope all of you will get a chance to know him too. So please give a warm Toledo Rotary welcome to our newest member, Jason Harris.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the warm welcome. You know, I've had a short time here, but I've, really tried to dive in, get to know and meet as many of you as I can. For all the new Rotarians, welcome. I encourage you to get involved, get engaged, join committees. Like Dick said, he's been a great ambassador, a great friend, but also, also a mentor, somebody I can lean on, reach out. And that's one thing I can say about the Toledo Rotary is everybody's welcome, helpful, engaging, and I truly appreciate everybody else's support. So looking forward to many, many more months and years together. So thank you again for having me.
Welcome to the club, Jason. You've already been pretty involved, as you said. I've seen you at quite a few events and meetings, so I look forward to getting to know you better. And thank you, Dick, for the introduction. I'd like to take a second to recognize some of our members that have some pretty significant anniversaries. With 20 plus years, we have past President Joe Tefelsky, Kate McPherson, and past President Dick Wolf. 30-plus, past President Bob Gennardo, past President Tom Backoff, and past President John Wasserman. With 40-plus years, John Clement, and with 65 years, Richard Colossard. So let's give them a round of applause. Richard must have joined me, he's like 10. My goodness. At this time, I'd like to call Allison I from Nature's Nursery to the podium to receive a grant and also tell us a little bit more about their program, their new facility. And I'd like to thank her for being willing to extend her presentation a little bit with the changes we made. She's brought a cute little friend with her, and I'm sure she's going to give a good introduction.
Hello? Hello, hello, testing, testing, testing. I guess I don't need to be near that mic. Hello, everyone. I wanted to say good morning. It's been a quick day already. I feel like I'm what's that comedian that makes the mess in the front row and nobody wants to sit up there? Did you guys hear I was bringing wildlife today, so nobody wanted to sit up close? Don't worry, Greta's not going to send any messes out there with you. I am with Nature's Nursery, and we are a recipient of a Toledo Rotary grant. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to come and say thank you. And then I understood that we had some additional time here, so I'm going to yap at you a little bit more about Nature's Nursery and what we do. So Nature's Nursery has been in the community for 34 years. We previously were located out in White House, Ohio on Shadow Road. We take in almost 4,000 native wild animals each year, including one like this. This is Greta, our Virginia opossum. We recently made the move to a new building in Waterville. The previous building that we were in was a tiny old farmhouse. So if you can picture a 1,400 square foot-ish farmhouse with anywhere from 15 to 20 people working in it every day, plus at any given time, 800 to 900 animals in there. We had, and I'm not joking, Kevin Mullen has seen it, we had animals in the bathrooms, we had animals in the closets, we had animals under tables, we had animals everywhere. We had outgrown the space long ago, and through the pandemic and the 2 years following that, we were able to raise enough money to buy a new building in Waterville, Ohio. And one of our big goals with that new building was to be able to be open to the public for education. We don't get any gold star by admitting more animals each year. That's not what we want. We want to be able to teach people how to coexist with wildlife. At one time, I'm on the business side of things, so I don't go in there and do the surgeries and the procedures with the animals. So I asked my clinic staff, I said, approximately what percentage of the animals that come in due to human interaction? And they said 110%. I'm not good at math, but I know that is not actually how that could be. But the point was very clear that the majority of the animals that come in because of we as humans unintentionally cause them some sort of stress. Whether it's habitat destruction because we're building new neighborhoods and taking away the place where they live, or it's running over a bunny nest because bunnies are terrible architects and they build their nest right in the middle of the yard, and getting a dog catching a bunny nest. In Greta's case here, if you can see, she's turning perfectly. She was attacked by a cat as a baby and lost her eye. And they generally have poor vision anyways, which is why you see them a lot on the road. But she was not able to go back in the wild, so she is one of our education ambassadors. So with our new center, we are able to be open to the public. We have a full classroom in there. In fact, when I left today, it was very noisy in there. I was very happy to pack up an animal and leave. We had like 18 children in there, pre-K, doing a story time. We are finishing the exterior portion of the project right now, which will include about 2.5 acres of animal habitats and a flight cage so that we can rehab bald eagles to completion, because right now when they come in, we generally start the rehab and then have to pass them off to a bigger center. So, I know that light. Straighten your eyes, baby. We have about 30 education ambassadors, which is what we call Greta, and these are animals that could not be released back to the wild. For various reasons, they have certain conditions that would not make them successful in the wild. So we have a special permit, we can keep them. Right now we go off-site a lot, we go to a lot of schools. If you have kids in classrooms in the area, ask them if Nature's Nursery has ever come in. Probably we've been there. You smell food, I know, you're hungry. She's ready for lunch. But with this new classroom, we are going to be able to do field trips and have groups and meetings and stuff come to us. And they'll be able to meet more of the education ambassadors because they'll be on site rather than us taking the animals off site. So the Rotary grant was specifically used to fund our new admissions office. Of those animals that come to our door, we've yet to have one just show up there by themselves and knock. They always come by people, and people find them in the wild, they contact us, and if they're able to contain them, they bring them in themselves. So there will be a very nice sign that's actually probably getting installed next week in that admissions office that says that it was supported by all of you folks, the Toledo Rotary. And everyone that comes in and brings an animal will see that your commitment to the environment and what you're doing to help wildlife support the environment in our area. Previously, our admissions office was a enclosed front porch on the farmhouse. So we were very excited to have an actual admissions office. It's got one of those sliding windows like an ice cream shop. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So if any of you ever have an interest in coming out for a little tour of the center, you can, I'm sure Jackie can share my email, my contact information. I love giving tours. It's my favorite part of my job is to show people around and just be able to see what we've been able to do with the building that was formerly a restaurant. So that is Nature's Nursery in a nutshell. Is there anything I didn't cover? Anybody have any questions? Do we have time for questions or no? Greta's also taking questions. If anybody has any questions for Greta. I can't see that light's right there. Okay. Yes, sir.
I've got a question. There you go. I have a question. My daughter called me about 10 days ago and she said, I caught a skunk in my have-a-heart trap. And so my question is, what would you have done, or do you handle skunks? And
We
if
do.
not, how would you have advised me?
I would have advised you to plug your nose and run, first and foremost. So our policy is we can only take animals that are sick, injured, or orphaned. So in the case of an animal being unnecessarily trapped, or perhaps some raccoons that got into an attic, we would refer you to like a nuisance control service. There's a lot of laws about where animals can be relocated, and if you have trapped one, where you can take it. But we generally don't get involved in those situations. Our best advice was probably, if she did call, was to open that cage and let that thing get out of there and go back to wherever it came from. But yes, we do take skunk. We do have orphan skunks right now, and it's, they're there, let's just say that. There's no missing when we've admitted a skunk.
Great job, Allison, last minute filling in here, so thank you for that. What percentage of the animals that come into your Nature's Nursery are able to be returned back to the environment?
That's a great question. It generally is about 50 to 60%, which is industry standard for wildlife. The reason being, we're not a pet shelter. We can't send these animals to a home with medication. So if they're not going to be successful in the wild, the best thing to do would be to humanely euthanize them. With that being said, though, if we take it beyond the first 48 hours where we can make the assessment and then commit to being able, like, this is an animal that we can rehab and get back out there, it jumps up to about 80 to 90%. So we also work with, we cover an 18-county region, but there are other rehabbers in Ohio. So if we get an animal that we know can't be released but could be a good ambassador and we don't particularly need that animal, we can share it with one of those other places.
So a follow-up question.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about, you said you've got 15 employees, which sounds like a lot. And then you talked about how you assess them in 48 hours. So tell me a little bit about the skill range and the types of employees you have.
Yep, we have about 15 employees. Some of those are, I'd say 4 or 5 of those are just seasonal, so they're on during the busy season. And then we've got a roster of 100 volunteers. Almost all of our staff, some of them have some formal education in animal care or environmental studies, but the majority of them learn on site. Most of them were interns that we hired. Some of them were volunteers that we hired, because even if you take veterinary classes at school, you may spend all of 30 seconds learning about, how to assist with an opossum eye surgery. So, our vet that comes over, he comes over from the Toledo Zoo every Monday to do some of our more technical procedures, and we can consult with him all the time. But it's really just a lot of on-the-job learning and hands-on being, learning best practices from even some of the other wildlife centers we consult with.
We just celebrated Independence Day, and I know everybody and their brother likes to set off fireworks, but I'm curious as to what impact that has, and if you guys have seen anything, any sort of surge in admissions since then.
Did you notice you said fireworks and she instantly stuck her nose down in my arm like, listen, see? Fireworks, Greta, fireworks. You know, as an organization, we're not trying to take any formal stance on such a rich tradition of fireworks, but they definitely have an impact on wildlife and the environment. We don't support them in any fashion. We do see an influx of cases after the 4th of July. A lot of times it's bird nests that have been abandoned, particularly birds of prey, which are the most essential to our environment. So your hawks, your owls, the birds that are a little bit more higher up nesting and more susceptible. Again, they don't come in and tell us their story that, you know, I fled the nest because fireworks scared me away. So we can't pinpoint it. But wildlife rehabbers everywhere would tell you that after the 4th of July, they're dealing with more orphaned cases because the moms or whatever flee. There's also the animals that are just super stressy. I mean, they're not used to those sounds. So that it's not only the impact of fireworks that are ending up in their habitats and in the waterways, and animals eat them and all those kind of things. A lot of it's just abandoned nests that we deal with.
I have a very technical question.
Uh-oh, technical.
No, it's not technical. What's the difference between a possum and an opossum? And this is a opossum.
I know
correct?
this one. I'm excited that I
Okay,
know
good.
this one.
Thank
As
you.
I'm
I
the
Googled it,
business,
I'm still not sure I know the answer.
the business side of the entity here, but I've learned a lot about animals in the last 3.5 years. Opossum is what this gal is here, Greta, and they are the North American animal. Possum without the O in front of it, I believe, is an Australian animal. Looks quite a bit different. Still like rodent-y fashioned, but we are the opossums, which, you know, it's like they're Irish. They've got the O. It's kind of a silent O. It's opossum sort of a thing, but and opossums are, I love bringing her to programs and chat when I'm talking about, you know, the impact that Nature's Nursery has on the environment, because opossums eat a lot of ground bugs. They control ticks, grubs, if you have grubs that are destroying your yard. When I first started, I thought they were the creepiest looking little critters. Like, they look like little catfish with whiskers and the fur, I don't even know, but I've just become so endeared to them because they are so cool. They're so good for the environment. They eat all the ground bugs and pests. They eat fleas, they eat tons of ticks, and they're the only marsupial in North America. So they got the little, you know, the little pouch. And for whatever reason, all the rehabbers in everywhere, actually, I just toured a center in Texas. We all are just having a huge surge in baby opossums. At one point, we had 220 baby opossums in our care. Yeah, they have to be tube fed and they're very hands-on, but there was apparently a viral TikTok video, I don't know, I have to ask my kids about it, about rescuing opossums and checking opossums that are on the side of the road for babies. So I think TikTok has impacted the rescuing of opossums. So this is how social media works in America. But we're happy to help them out because they are good for the environment.
Actually, my question, so back in 6th grade biology class, they said when you see a possum on the side of the road, you should stop and check it. And I was going to ask, what's the validity of that? Because every single time I see a possum, I go, oh gosh, should I check it? And then I go, how am I susceptible to things? Like, you know, that sort of moral back and forth of what I should do, so.
Yeah, so opossums they don't tend to get any kind of disease. They don't carry rabies. Their natural temperature is very low, so they do not tend to get fleas and things of that nature. They really are super clean animals. They clean themselves constantly, so you don't really have to worry about any kind of disease with any wild animal. Oh, hey, that's the microphone. With any wild animal, you should be, you know, we wear gloves just because. But yeah, if you see one on the side of the road and you can safely check it, you can always look to see if you see movement in the pouch and remove those babies from the pouch, because the mother will start releasing toxins in her milk instantly after she dies, and those babies will you know, nurse and get those toxins and pass away as well. So we always try and remove the babies and bring them in and take care of them. Thank you. You say bye-bye. Bye-bye, Greta. Thank you.
And lots of good questions, so thank you, everyone, for coming on up. Now, like I said, we had to tweak things a little bit since we were not doing the changing of the card. And some of the vocational networking activities that we've done the last couple of years have been very popular. So we decided to run with that for this meeting, the remainder of the meeting. So at this time, I'd like to ask Heather Carnes to come up and lead us in our networking event.
Hello, everyone. This is probably the time when all of you are groaning, like, oh, we have to network again. We have to talk to people again. But as Cindy said, some of our table talk and networking done at the Rotary events through the Vocational Services Committee over the last year have gone over really well and received great reviews. So we thought we would do that today as well. We definitely have some new or newer members, and I know we have some folks, I mean, just from the slides we saw, that have been in here 20, 30, 40, and more years. So there's a lot of wisdom in the room. And to make this easier, I went ahead and we have some preloaded questions. I didn't have an opportunity to put pages at everyone's table, but the format is going to go like this. I see a lot of tables that have 6. There is this table, very conspicuous table in the middle that has like 20 people. So you guys might have to split up into a few tables or just not answer so many questions. But when I begin and we ring the bell, we're going to have everyone have 3 minutes each to talk about, to share information about yourself, to talk about how long you've been in Rotary, perhaps what brought you to Rotary, what you've liked about it, and then also get into some other things. Not everyone is actively engaged in employment. Some people are volunteering. So we do have some additional questions that you could talk about or bring up. I also thought of a few more. Your favorite animal. We could always talk about that. How you bring the 4-way test into your day-to-day life. You could also include your favorite pet peeves, or I guess those would be your least favorite if they're pet peeves. So if you run out of time or run out of things to talk about, those would be some suggestions. And hopefully you'll have a chance to get to know some members at your table. Now, to get us started, could anyone who's been involved in a vocational services committee in the last 2 years raise your hand? Okay, fantastic. So for those of you that it does look like some people will need to find a new table, so thank you in advance for making an effort to do that. For those that have led a vocational services or been involved in a vocational services committee, you're going to be the people who start out. We're going to ask you to take the lead in this, in moving this in your table. And for any table that doesn't have a vocational services person or committee member at it, I would like for the most senior member, the person who's been in Rotary the longest, to take the lead. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second to identify who those people are. And when you're ready, just somebody at the table raise your hand. I want to make sure all tables are covered. Okay, thanks, Kevin. Can you head over to my table where Allison is? Where Allison was? And okay. Sounds like everybody is ready. We're going to do 3 minutes each, and you'll hear the bell in between when it's time to switch, okay? And I would also encourage you, if you have questions as people are presenting and talking about themselves, feel free to ask those, because that's how we get to know each other. All right? Fantastic. Off we go.
Time to change. This is our last round. Thanks, everyone, for playing along. President Cindy, the podium is yours.
Yes, thanks. All right, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves and got to know your table mates a little bit more. And thank you, Heather, for putting that together at the spur of the moment. Travis owes you one. So as I mentioned, next week we'll be doing the changing of the guard, and I hope you will all be able to join us in bringing Travis into the fold. There's one committee meeting today, it's membership, and it's at Summit A. I thank you for allowing me to lead you one extra time, and I hope you all have a great day and a great week. Ready?